All right, welcome back. This is MDog. I'm just going to assume that you enjoyed that last Ukraine map we did, video we did here in the Fisher Online, whatever game we're playing here. I'm going to assume that you enjoyed it so much that we have made a second one. And this is sort of a very specific strategy here. We're just going after a fish that's called rammed, I think, R-A-M-M-E-D. Let's see what we have on here, and I'll explain sort of the baits we're using and what we're going after. Two of the lines, actually, I can tell you we're using maggots. And basically all we're catching, well, I shouldn't say all we're catching. Primarily what we're catching are the rammed fish, which is what we're going after, and large golden crucians, like you just saw there. And they have pretty much been reasonable size as well. Now this is the third line. I've just been trying to see if I could catch bream in this spot. There's some big bream here at the Ukraine, but I still got to find out where they are. Got to test out some other spots. I've caught a couple here, but they haven't been great. So I'm starting to think this may not be a very good brim spot, but I did want to test that. So that's what I've been doing. And there's a tench. And that's what I was going to tell you. If you're looking for a spot here in Ukraine for tench, for any of the Crucian type species, even for carp, I've seen some carp come out here. This seems like a reasonable place. But what I've really liked fishing for in this spot, using the maggots, is I have enjoyed fishing for rammed. So I've only caught the large rammed fish, the ones that have been on, been the blue size. Smaller ones I've been turning in for quest. So I've actually caught a lot more than what I have in my net right now in terms of that specific species of fish. But again, I've only been keeping the blue ones thus far. And I haven't tried, there's a lot of spots on this map I still haven't tried, but this seemed like a good one, and I have had some success. Now, what I'm starting to notice at this point is that because it's beginning to be nighttime, I think the rammed fish are no longer biting, at least in my experience. They've slowed down significantly. I was trying to see. Yeah, we've just caught a tench. The most recent fish have not been what we're looking for. So during the day in this spot, I guess I should say. So if you leave the fishing base, if you're standing on this pier, you're going to go to your left. And basically when you make this corner here, you'll run into this dock on your left somewhere in here. It might be right about here. But you'll see the lilies there across the way. So it's a relatively easy cast, and I am using size 1 and size 0 hooks. They both have been getting very similar results. My thought process was that size 1 hooks might be able to focus in on the larger fish of the ram species, but honestly, 0 seems to be doing about as well. So you could go either way. Maggot seems to be the bait that is getting them the most frequently from what I've tested. And then you're also going to have the other thing of catching a bunch of these large golden crucians, which there's worse things to catch in terms of silver. But again, I think daytime is going to be where it's at. So, and it's just right into those lilies, by the way. 75 to 100% casting from here, at least with my setup. And again, this third line we've had mollusk pieces. I've tried different baits, but maggots is really where it's at in this spot. So on my second line, I've got a regular bottom weight with tiny 0 hook. I will point out real quick on my first line, I was trying out the Lucky Fishing attractant, so with a 30-gram feeder. And that seemed to work, although I don't necessarily think that attractant is making it work any better than it would have without it, because the line that I had with just the bottom feeder was catching the rammed just as quickly. So I was trying that out, but I don't necessarily think that was a part of why we were successful. So I will say we'll drive this till we get to the turn up here, so you can kind of see how far down the lane we are. This lane here is sort of off the main waterway, and that's where we've been fishing. And see, it wasn't far, because here's the right turn. So it's really the first dock that you come to on your left once you've turned. And then once you make the turn, the main fishing dock is going to be the second one you come to. Here's the first one, and then the main fishing dock will be the next one. Now, if you didn't know this, which I may have said this in one of my other videos as well, but if you didn't know this, and see, there's the main dock. You can see it in the distance, but I was going to show you something. You can actually teleport to the fishing base anytime, and the boat will reset when you do that. If you're in the boat when you teleport, you'll reset. So let's see how much these rammed are worth. Not very much. So the reason to target those fish may in fact be because they show up on a lot of quests here, right? So maybe not a fish that's worth targeting for the sake of making silver, but you'll get a lot of quests, and some of the quests are quite lucrative here at the Ukraine. So if you want a decent place to target the rammed because of the quest, then that's a good spot. And I mean, if you look at this, because of how well those large golden Crucians sell, we're making 60 silver. And I probably fished there for 10-15 minutes, real life time, you know, not very much. So that's not a bad rate if you have a quest and you want to get some rammed anyway, and you're pulling in those Crucians pretty fast. In fact, I would say Crucians were coming in fast enough. It might be worth even through the night to try to catch those. You could maybe be catching carp at the same time, and again, I might set up there and really focus on tench as well at some point. But it's a pretty cool spot. The more I try out this Ukraine map, the more I'm liking it. Initially, when I got here, I had kind of heard mixed things about this map. And I you know, of course, the wild carp, like I showed you in the last video, was really good. But I'm actually starting to like, you know, the different spots I've tried. I'm starting to enjoy it. It may be that the folks that were frustrated with this map, as you can see, if you look on the fish that are in the lake, the Stella Sturgeon and the sturgeon, really big fish, those might be rare. I don't know if people have maybe had a hard time. I haven't even targeted those yet. I figure I'm going to wait until I upgrade my gear a little bit. But it may be that people are trying to target those, and maybe that's what had been frustrating people. I don't know if folks have found that spot or not, or found good spots for targeting them or not. But you can see they get very big, 150-pound fish there on max weight. But yeah, I like Ukraine. I think it's a pretty cool place. I mean, we're almost level 13 and a half, so we have plenty of time where we can fish here and hopefully learn some more stuff. But anyway, so this has been a video, I guess. To wrap it up, I would say, you know, if you take a left here, go around, go to that first dock once you've made the turn, fish over in the lilies across the way like you saw me doing, use maggots. You can make some decent money because of the golden Crucians, but you also complete rammed quests, which there tends to be a lot here. So for what it's worth, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.